What's up, everybody? Joseph Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. A-Town Down is Joseph Wheeler III. Yes, indeed. Yo, big shout out. Let me start off with saying, hey, shout out to Usher, man. Because he has made that phrase just universal. I mean, quite frankly, it all started in the popular sense with him. I think it was definitely something people were doing before he started saying it. You know, maybe there were other folks that made it popular in different hoods in Atlanta or whatever, saying peace up, A-Town down, whatever, you know. But him being a celebrity way back in the day, y'all know the song, yeah, 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 yeah. To my knowledge, that was like the first time he ever said it. You know, at the beginning of that song, he's like, peace up, A-Town down. And then the rest is history. Another hit, another platinum level hit. I don't know if it went platinum, but as far as I'm concerned, it is. I'm pretty sure it did, though. I mean, you know, I think that was still back in the era where stuff could go platinum, not just gold. But yo, Usher has teamed up with the Atlanta Braves and New Era Cap Company. You know, New Era, yeah. Shout out to Philly. You know what I'm saying? Friends and fam I got up there. I couldn't even, quick statement about that. I don't wear a lot of my sports caps every day. I definitely have them, but I don't tend to wear a lot of team caps every day because literally as soon as you put on a team, you are now representing a whole fanaticism, fandom, whatever you want to call it. And they will notice, like, I did not walk out the door. I just came out the door and I saw this lady was dropping off her friend, and the lady took one look at me, and I knew what that look. I knew what that look meant. That look meant he from Philly. There was a question mark in that facial expression. She had shades on and everything. I could read straight through the glass. I know exactly what her facial expression, even with shades on, was saying. And no sooner than I got to my vehicle and I'm opening the door, her friend that was dropping her off rides up beside me. Where you from, Philly or Jersey? I said, I ain't from up there. I said, I'm from Atlanta, but I said, I got plenty of friends and family up there, so I rock with y'all. She said, oh, okay. And she just rolled on off. Have a good day, you too. All right. But, you know what I'm saying? And I like when it's positive and it's love like that, because it ain't, you know, then you get the other folk, the folk who jealous of a team because that's their rival. I mean, don't let, you know, like a Giants fan or who else be tripping with Philly? I guess you say Kansas City for sure, you know, after they finally got their revenge and did the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hurts and the whole crew. But yeah, it is what it is, you know? Yeah, as I was saying, you know, so it is what it is. And like I said, because of that though, I just, you know, I wear what I want, but I'm at the same time, I'm very considerate of where I have to go in a day, who I'm gonna be around, what are the chances of extra conversation over what I got on versus I'm low on everybody's radar. Ain't nobody paying me no attention because I'm not wearing any particular logo or insignia or whatever. But I do like I like logos. I like mascots. I like all that stuff. So I rock my stuff, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, you wear a sports cap, they gonna notice if they're a fan. They gonna be on it, like they gonna start talking their stuff. Well, we'll see what they do this season. You know, you're gonna have to deal with that all day. All day you're gonna have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out for the love. I see y'all. Appreciate y'all. Yeah. Sending the love up. I love it. Thank you, man. That's what I'm talking about. We got 3 loves. We got 3 likes up. We got 33 in the building. Know how the hell that ain't? We ought to be matching that. I'll tell y'all, when we do this, the number ought to always match. Yeah, go on and drop it down. 4. Okay, it's going up. But this what's going to happen. That number going to drop all the way down. There it is, 17. All right, come on up. 4 loves. Yep. Let's see if we can get it to about 10. 10 thumbs up. Can we get 10 in the building? Where y'all at? You know, it's like an auction house. We got 10, we got 4 in the building. We need 10. Anybody gonna give us a 10? Who's gonna give us a 10? Hold on for a second. I gotta get this order. You know what it is. It's that work always first. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Wait. I know I done lost everybody now. Whenever you gotta dip off, you're gonna lose some people. got one hung around, one that knows one that must know how I do this thing when I'm live like this. I'm always gonna have my interruptions, as I always tell y'all. If you enjoy the content and you want less of the interruptions, you want to just see a straight feed with no breaks. First of all, that's impossible because the technology gonna do what it's gonna do. That's the first part of that. But it is possible if more people support the channel, tune in, like, share, subscribe. You know that. Come on, man. You know, me and every single person on YouTube say the same thing. But you gotta understand, we saying it because it's real. Like, if you do these things, you literally turn somebody's simple home operation into a true television show, you know, because that's my goals for this. I want to really get to the point where I have so much technology and so many people who I can give opportunities to work for ONYXCON, and we put out the best content possible. I can get the camera people, I can get the drone flyer, I can get, and you know what's funny? I know all these people already. For being in the film business, I already know people who can do everything I need done. I just can't pay them, and hell, at the end of the day, they somewhere working on a job that either whether it's something they love or not right now, just like I am. We all trying to get to it, keep these damn bills paid, and just stay afloat. That's what everybody trying to do. So if you get to the point where that part is good, we got that, then the only thing left is creativity, and then you're gonna get the best content ever. I promise you. That's just what it is, because I'm already a creative. I already create the best I can with what I have, and it'd be quite phenomenal considering what we've been able to do with so little in terms of, you know, a lot of equipment, a whole bunch of fancy cameras and mics and stuff. I got my little, I can still count them all on one hand, you know what I'm saying? The devices I use to make content. It's like my phone, I got a gimbal just this year, finally got one. Still don't know all the odds and ends of that, and it's as good as it is, it's not the absolute best because it doesn't hold enough charge long enough for you to use it like for a day. You can only use it for a few hours. I mean, maybe they don't even make that, quite frankly. What I'm imagining, it might not even exist. All right, but I do know that there's cameras that can do that, where you can shoot pretty much all day, and it'll hold a charge, and it can take files that long. I mean, like you can shoot like 4 to 6 hours and it not die on you or something like that, or at least 3 hours. Come on, you know, I know that. Yes, that's possible. That's possible. I had to ask ChatGPT, hey yo, Chat, tell me which of these cameras that are out right now can do this, and it'll give you a list and prep, it'll do a checklist, it'll comparison. That's a powerful app, man. I ain't gonna front. I be loving Chat. You get on my nerves sometimes, for the most part, it'd be on point. It'd be on point. The stuff you can get information wise on there, it's a little genie. You just like, genie, here's my wish, and it grants it. You know, and it's almost no limit because I got a free account, but like, you know, if you keep asking it about images and stuff, you're gonna get a limit. You only have I forget how many they let you conjure images per day, or submit images for analyzation to be then revised or whatever. It's like a limit on all that, but you can ask questions all day. All day. It don't matter, and get answers. It's gonna tell you something, never nothing. And I love it for that, really do. So anyway, kind of went on a tangent, but that's gonna be the kind of day it is today. There's no specific topic. I'm just going from one thing to the next on all the elements of ONYXCON. As I was saying earlier, I was talking about my Philly cap and how that got me some folks from up in Philly saying, hey, yo, you from Philly? I'm like, no, I'm from Atlanta. But I got friends up there, so much love, you know. And how, you know, like, so I don't wear a lot of my sports stuff every day. I got it and I love it, but I don't rock it every day because I just don't want the heat of it's just gonna get, it makes for too much conversation piece. You know, like there's a Tuskegee shirt I have, and I did not attend Tuskegee University, but I got a lot of family that did. So, and then I know the history of the school and how much of an important HBCU it is. So I support them. I support all HBCUs, you know. I like the purpose of a HBCU. So I'm always in support of that concept at the end of the day, every day. But so I'll wear that shirt every now and then. And it's like, you know, if you know their colors, they got the yellow or the gold and like a crimson or like wine red, if you will. And so, and it comes in variations. You'll see, you know how that go with people's schools colors. It'll be bright red. It'll be damn near maroon. It'll be plum. It'll be like, wait a minute, we don't went all the way to that. That ain't, you know, depending on who the manufacturer of the shirt or whatever it is, that, you know, whatever they could get, whatever they, you know, whatever the material is. All those things change the way colors look, you know. So anyway, I'll be wearing that shirt and it just says Skigi. Man, don't let nobody be from Alabama that nobody's Skigi. Boy, they will pull off the road. Hey man, you ain't Tuskegee. I'm talking about it's fun though. It's nothing negative about it. It's always love. It's never like, man, the hell with Tuskegee. It ain't never like that. It's always TU, you know, they be, oh man, hey, Tuskegee, woo, woo, woo. They be on it like that. You know what I'm saying? If they see you, they crunk for it. They love some Tuskegee, right? So, but it's just, but it can be a distraction. Like, I can remember one day I was trying to walk somewhere across a parking lot. I'm trying to get somewhere. First of all, don't yell at me. I don't care how happy you are, how good the energy. I don't know you, so I don't know what energy you're on. You yelling, hey, A can be A. A can mean a lot of things. A can be a good A. A can be a real bad A. Which A are you doing? Hey, man, hey. I just, man, shit. And then I'm like, blinders. I don't know you like that. What you yelling? And I knew it was the shirt. He just wanted to say something about Tuskegee. I was like, man, that ain't the way to do it. You know. Then I got a similar version of that one time. It was an old lady in a car. I'm leaving a gas station. I couldn't avoid her because I just walked out and she was parked right in the front. You at Tuskegee? You from Tuskegee? So I just walked over to her to keep her voice down. How you doing, man? Hey, you in Tuskegee? No, but I got a whole bunch of family that did. I mean, a whole bunch, like graduates too. We ain't talking about just some folk who went down and partied. No, we talking about got degrees. Layered in degrees. Matter of fact, my uncle used to be the pastor. He was the head of the chapel. Oh yeah, that's right. You know, you start, you know, but then now that turned into a whole conversation. They want to start naming streets and stuff. I don't know it like that. I just, hey, like I said, I got love for y'all. I know about y'all. Y'all have, hey, but I gotta get back to work. Okay, baby. You know. so you know. If you ain't ready for the conversations that come with sports apparel, you got to consider these things before you put on whatever you're going to put on. You got to be like, man, let me see. Am I about to go in an area where it's a bunch of fans? And if you know they could be anywhere, then do you really want to deal with that day? I mean, if you do, cool. You might want that energy that day. You might, yeah, man, let me get out here and get crunk for Philly up in here. You know, that wasn't my intention today, but I know I'm going to hear it again today. Somebody going to be like, oh man, the Eagles, yeah, or you know, whatever. It's either love or yeah, they good, but I tell you what, we gonna get them this year. All right, man. All right, cool. Peace. It's all good. Peace. You know. Let me see, y'all. Hold on 1 second. All right. Let me get myself right, man. I gotta have my seat on. Yeah. Safety first, y'all. Put your seatbelt on. I was rushing this order, didn't even think about it. I laughed at myself when I got here. I said, wait a minute. Oh, I know I'm tripping. I always put on my seatbelt. I don't be playing about that. So busy chit-chatting with y'all. Let me get focused out this mug, right? But, let me see. Which way I want to go? Yeah. All right. We back. Shout out to the folks who hung in there with me. Still here, chopping it up. So as I was saying, I was talking about sports paraphernalia, caps and everything. And I started talking about the peace up, A-Town down phrase. And, you know, peace up, A-Town down. You know what I mean? I say how I say that. I've started saying that. And I've been saying that. It's nothing new, but I made it kind of a signature thing based on what Usher be talking about, and I gave credit to him as being the one who made it popular. And I was talking about the fact that Usher just started or now has a cap line with New Era, and this ain't no advertisement, okay? I wish we had sponsors like that. If you want to be a sponsor like that, if you got a apparel line and your stuff is fresh, hit us up, send us an email, you know what I'm saying, ONYXCON@gmail.com, be about your business, explain the whole thing, have links, do a proposal, tell us how we can benefit each other, because we're a nonprofit. So you donate to us on a certain level. I always tell people, hey, if you want to get an ad or any of our content, our main content, $50 and up, yeah, we flash your logo, for real talk. We'll shout you out. It's not a problem. You just got to come in. You got to come in and do right by us, and we'll do right by you. That's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And you get the win-win, because come tax time, if you know how to do your taxes, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. So everything you put for us, it comes back to you. It comes back to you if you know how to do what you do. Anyway, so he has a new line that he did based on the piece up A-Town Down phrase. And it's like a jacket, like a starter jacket, if you remember the old school starter jackets, which, you know, they brought those back years ago or whatever. But like the spring to fall layer jackets, the kind that coaches and everybody usually wear in the dugout. When you see them, they always got that jacket on with the team. Those are starter jackets. So at least, even if it's not even made by Jack Starter, that's who started that look. And that's what we, you know, I grew up on all that in middle school. That's when all that came out. As I always say when I'm doing these lives like this, yo, there will be interruptions. There will be interruptions, technical interruptions, as we out here doing what we gotta do, not what we wanna do. What we wanna do is talk to you. What we need to do is talk to you to build ONYXCON. But what we have to do is catch these courier orders and keep these damn bills up off me. The bills is like, you know, they like a damn bully, you know? It's never enough. They always going up on the, you know, but they're gonna understand, they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out who's really in charge of this life. But anyway, back to us. I'm gonna try to finish this whole statement. Okay, so Usher got these jackets now, he got hats, and there's an upside down Atlanta Braves A. If you know the A, it's got that A, but it's upside down. Now you might say, hey, they've been doing them kind of. You're right. There's a whole line that New Era came out with probably 2 years ago or something like that, where all the logos are upside down. Now I don't know what was the first idea behind that or what started, because you know they do them in series, like there's such and such series, that and that series. It's always a series, and you know the name of the series, it makes it easier to look for the cap if you miss something and want to see a launch. You know, you want to catch a drop when it first come out, kind of thing. So this just dropped, and I know it's gonna be a sellout because it's a really fresh, clean look for Usher and the Braves. And so the only thing I don't like is they got multiple versions. Two of the versions I think, plus the jam jacket has the damn tomahawk. Now, I am big on that being changed. I'm one of the people who was very happy when teams like the Indians got rid of that little goofy ass cartoon character. And yeah, I grew up on it thinking it was kind of cute and cool. Then I got old enough to understand how disrespectful that was. You know, when I was young, it was just an image. And that's what's dangerous about some of this stuff, because if you don't know the context of the intent and how when it was created, it was a caricature. It was, and it is whether it was intended to be by the person who made it, because a lot of times somebody who made something back in them times, they didn't even think of it as being racist, because they were just racist and racism was the norm. You know, it's like you create constructs, aka race, and then you become racist in a society, and then you want to push that like it's a norm. So for people who are on that, it's like, man, it's just disgusting, and it messes up so much creativity. It messes up so much art where you can't even appreciate it. Like, it's not the image itself. The tomahawk image itself is iconic, if you will, but it's also iconically messed up. It's like, yo, you fighting for the liberation of your people and the sovereignty of your lands that were always and for much longer than the time period of colonization. This is your property. This is your land. This is where you raised your families, hunted and gathered for your food, created your nations, your societies. Then somebody comes along with disease and guns and warfare and policies of total domination and, sound familiar? Sound like 2025. Folk coming and kidnapping people and unjustly deporting folk and all this craziness. But you know, when all that stuff in another version of it was going on, you know, folks were fighting against it. They were trying to hold their land. They were trying to keep what was theirs. And the weaponry they used to do so, one of the most lethal weaponry used by certain tribes, not all. This is why this is another reason it's messed up. When you get in that generalized mindset of BS versus truth, there's some goofy people that really think all Native Americans used the same weapons. Like they all had the same stuff. They all did the same thing. Like, no, fool, there was 500 nations. Like, yeah, there were ones that were like cousins so much that, yes, there were slight differences, but language-wise, there could have been a huge difference, or certain specific customs, there could have been a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? So there's other weaponry, but, you know, because that was popular with certain groups, you know, some people might think that's all they used or whatever. But anyway, it was a warrior's weapon in certain tribes. So like, and to then, you know, you mock it, turn it, you know, you do an illustration of it. And I'm a visual artist, so I understand this concept. You do an illustration of it, and it's not, hold tight, y'all. You know, you do it, like I said, you do an illustration, right? And the illustration becomes this iconography. But this iconography is backwards, because it's like, yo, this is what my great grandfathers, uncles, cousins, etc. used to liberate and keep their peace, to control, or try to control this dominant, corrupt, disease-ridden, because if it weren't for the diseases, it would be a different place. You know, if you really know history and know about how Native Americans were, so many, not all, but so many groups were largely affected directly by the diseases that the Europeans brought in. That's what took folk out so quick. It ain't because they didn't have the physical might or warrior prowess to defend their land. Please, are you crazy? And all over the world, man, folk knew how to get down. It was a matter of he who holds the gun. And once they utilized that as a weapon, gunpowder, you know, you got the advancement of how everything went from that to nuclear war to everything else that's so messed up. But, and I'm somebody who grew up hunting, fishing, all that, so it's not about, you know, I don't see a gun or any weapon automatically as evil. It ain't that simple. It's more like it's a tool, but it's how you're using it. So I'm saying, if this tool was used for liberation, and then after the person has defeated you, colonized and imperialized your lands and your whole everything, and have the audacity to take the thing that you use to defend yourself and make it part of the emblems of something they own that you have no part of. You don't, there's nothing about it is helping your bottom line. And if there is, it's minuscule. You know, it's like a pat on the head, like, here, you know, we want to show that we care about y'all a little bit since we beat you down and left you with nothing, but then we're going to give you this false, not really salute. We call it a salute. How's this a salute, man? This is disrespectful. So, like, the Braves is just another one of those teams that needs to change their name, and they need to change that damn tomahawk. So I said all that to mainly say that, to say, you know, I'm tired of seeing that, and it gets on my nerves as an Atlanta native who wants to wear more Atlanta stuff, because I wear the A. Like I said, I wear the A because A is Atlanta. But when it's got the little tomahawk going through it, I'm like, man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit, man. I'm not wearing that. I'm not going to disrespect. All right, y'all, you know what it is. We running these orders. Get that from behind my head. We ain't trying to do a damn advertisement for Pampers. That's somebody's order. Closest I come to that reality is I am an uncle. But and them days been over. I done done my diaper duty. Shout out to all the uncles and aunts, man. We are such an incredible part of the equation, right? But anyway, back to the topic. I was saying, so, you know, I just feel that the Braves, ain't no feel, I know the Braves need to change that. And you know, I can remember when I was in high school and folks started first doing that tomahawk chop thing. And again, when you're young and dumb, you don't know what the hell you're doing. I was on with it because it was just a thing to do for Atlanta, and we was happy for our team. Then I realized, you know, I said, man, this is kind of messed up. And I started reading articles about why it's messed up. And one I saw was it featured a Native American leader, a true chief of a particular group. I can't remember if he was, I ain't even gonna pretend to remember which tribal group, but he was speaking on behalf of all the 500 nations and saying, you know, until teams like, and he named them all the ones at the time that still existed, like the what he was talking about, Redskins, and that thing, he named a lot of them. And it was interesting too, because the only one in the whole thing, and to this day that I've ever heard has given enough back, and to this day does give back to the Seminole Nation, is the Seminoles for Florida State. So they have like a true relationship, and it's supposed to be considered more respectful. I'm not saying, I'm not going on record to say that everybody agrees with it or still thinks it's cool. I mean, in my opinion, ultimate opinion, I feel like, hell, if the institution is not ran by the group of people that is being so-called honored, yet, you know, they're used as a mascot, then, yo, how do you know you're not stepping on feet, for sure, you know, or care? Because some people just don't give a damn. They're just gonna do whatever they want to do anyway, and then, you know, you reap what you sow too. About that part, you got that energy, you reap what you sow. It come around. It just does, man. You just got to be on the right side of everything with balance and order and ethics and respect. I always tell y'all, respect, power, then money. People put that money first. They don't give a damn who they stepping on. They don't care whose culture they step on. They don't care about nothing. They just do whatever they want to do. But you're gonna find out why that's not the way. It will reverse. It will reverse every time. It may take generations, but when it does, woo, 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 you're going to pay. Simple and plain. But anyway, no, so I'm big on that. And, like, you know, I think that, you know, he was saying that, I remember in the article, the guy specifically said that he felt like the Braves would never win. Now, sadly, you know, if you think about this theory, he was saying they would never win until they changed that name. Because it was that time when it was really bad. They weren't winning. Right? Or when they got so close and they weren't winning. Now, we all know they did get another championship. And I just attribute that to just people having an opportunity, whether, you know, because think about it, players on a team, man, you may not agree with the philosophies of whatever it is, but it's just a big opportunity. I know this mindset from being an actor in Hollywood. You get an opportunity, man, you're so happy to finally have a role. As long as it's not something completely out of your wheelhouse, you're going to do the role. You know what I mean? Now, that's why I'm so serious about what type of roles I will and will not do as an actor. I'm like, I'm not going to do certain things. It just ain't going to be. It ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't give a damn about no money. It ain't going to be enough money to make me do that. I'm not going to do it. And that's having true ethics. And understanding, too, that when you turn down something, history will show for people who have that kind of mindset. When you don't lead with money first, when you put respect first, it comes back around. Other people who think like that will give you the next, and you'll think, oh, man, I lost the biggest opportunity. No, well, it's just an opportunity. It can never be a biggest. It can never be a biggest. It can never be a biggest. There's always something else could happen. And that's usually what happens. Somebody sees that you did not go for the mess, and they want to work with people like that, and suddenly the phone rings. It may take a while, but when it finally does, they say, man, you know, I really always respected your ethics and your energy and how you move, and we want to work with you, sir. And it'll be a bigger, better, more luxurious, more whatever you want it to be opportunity than that first thing ever could have been. That was trying to trash your ethics and didn't give a damn about none of that. It will be 10,000 times better. That's just the way it goes. But you gotta hold it. You gotta be on you gotta 10 toes down, stand on business, all them phrases y'all want to use nowadays. All right? You know, you gotta really do that. And you'll see, it'll come back tenfold in a better way, more respectful way, what it ought to be. So yeah, I just want them to change that. I really do. But I do like the line from the perspective of the upside down A. Shout out to Usher, a true ATLian. And, you know, cool to him for that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he may not even be thinking about none of the stuff I'm talking about. Most people don't. They don't even get that deep or want to go that deep. I mean, they have publicists and everything around them that help them decide on what's a good look for themselves and what they do. If it had been me, I would have sat down at the table and be like, okay, this is officially a thing we're doing as a partnership, right? Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna get money out of this. Y'all gonna get the bulk money out of this. The Braves gonna get money out of this. New Era's gonna get money out of this, and then I'm gonna get my cut. All right, well, I tell you what, I want nothing but the A, because that's what I'm representing, Atlanta. I don't need the tomahawk. I don't need the chance that that's gonna offend somebody. And if there's fans who, and I'm sure if you look at your sales, because I can see, here's what I know. I notice more and more they don't use it as much, or when they do, they always have an alternative. Typically, not always, but a lot of times they'll have an alternative version of whatever it is without it, because they're starting to see that people ain't buying it. You can argue all you want. These fools only care about the money first. So as soon as you show them, oh, I'm not going to buy that shit, then they like, oh, let's call the design department and tell them to get rid of everything that looks like a tomahawk. Suddenly it's not a thing, because they realize, oh, wait a minute, we're going to lose money because people are waking up to this being disrespectful, and we don't want to be associated with that. And we are still on the list of teams that have not changed, that need to change and get a new name and a new identity. And you sense everything is so damn corporate. I've always said this, and I'm going to say it again. And I want my respect for whenever this finally happens, because it could happen. I know too much about how these people think and how they want to do business. So, because I've literally said this before, I'm going to say it, don't worry, I'm getting to it. And saw within a year, some other guy, supposedly just a fan, who said the exact thing I said as an alternate name for the team instead of the Braves, and an homage that they should do that they late on doing, and that would be to Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron hit the home run that beat Babe Ruth's record. Babe Ruth got his record shattered by this amazing black athlete during the time of segregation, coming out of the Civil War. I mean, Civil War, it may as well be in some ways, but Civil Rights era, okay? And this is my dad's era as a young man coming out. I'll never forget, he tells me them stories all the time about how emotional that was and beautiful that was to witness that, and how happy everybody was for Hank. And even how happy liberal whites and folks, not just black folks, just people who wanted to see that happen, to show that it could be done, and are not racist. Like, they were happy for the man, right? So to this day, you still have people who are like that, and they know that. So they do have like some jerseys that have Hank's number on it. They got the old school Braves jerseys with the old little A, the little lowercase a or whatever. They got the I don't know what, I've always said that must represent a feather. I'm not exact to this day, I'm not precisely sure of it, but it's usually on the arm of the jersey, and it's got that little shape that points up. I think it's supposed to be like a feather. But anyway, yeah, they got jerseys, they got hats, they got everything with that, right? And then some, what was it? Keep hammering or something like that. Like, to reference, they called him Hammering Hank, okay? Because he would hammer that ball. He'd always be hitting them home runs. Hammering Hank, right? So I'm like, look, in a land that's in a city, Atlanta, that's always building, always construction. You go into Atlanta, I don't give a damn what year it is. I don't care how many buildings have went up. You're going to see some cranes in the air, some new stuff going up. And every single building, when it starts at the ground level, there's some metal, there's some concrete, there's some wood, and that's throughout the whole process. But I'm saying in that beginning, somebody using a hammer to get those things together, to adjust something, to move something, right? So just for that alone, and the fact that big companies like Home Depot and all of that, and that's another conversation, but just to make my point, Home Depot's known for what? Do it yourself, home improvement, tools, and hammer is like number one. It's like a hammer and a nail, man. Them two things say work. They just say get it done. And it also speaks to power. It speaks to endurance. It speaks to everything and the qualities you want in a team and in an individual that became one of the most famous players on the history of that team. Quite frankly, at the redawning, the rebirthing, the re-imaging of a team that wasn't always, a whole league that wasn't open to black players. Until Jackie Robinson, there were no black players in the Major League Baseball system. And they went and pulled all these black players from the Negro Leagues, as they called it. And that was owned by black folk, for the most part, that ran these teams. You don't know the history of that? Look up We Are the Ship. That's the book. Shout out to Kadir Nelson. His illustrations and narration of the history of the Negro League. One of the most phenomenal. It's intended for children's book, but it's really an every age book. It's just a great book to know the true history of it. I have that book. I love that book. And I want to say I got it signed by Kadir. I know I met him one time. I can't remember if I had it at the time and had it signed, but I love that book. Absolutely. But there was a phrase by one of the owners, and I hate to say I'm forgetting that name right now. I can see the guys. I can see his face. I can see the illustration that Kadir did of him. But he had this phrase. He said, "We are the ship, all else the sea." I said, "Woo! I love that. I love that." Like, he understood the power of what he had created and how it was his own thing, and it was a ship that could go on and on and on if everybody involved would just realize what they really had. But things fall apart. And if you want to know the whole history of that, like I say, look it up. I'm just giving you I'm giving you the edutainment we always tell you we give you here at ONYXCON, right? So that's just a little something you can look up for yourself today. Learn the history of the Negro League and how the Major League Baseball situation in many ways destroyed the Negro Leagues because of the popularity of seeing a player like Jackie Robinson overcome all the obstacles he did, led to other players, great black players coming in, Afro-Latino players coming in, Asian players coming in. Like, literally, we opened up the doors. Because until Jackie Robinson, it was all white and it was super racist. And to this day, there's still always racism, but it wasn't what it was. It was 10 times, 1,000 times worse, probably, in so many ways. But the ultimate point is, I want to see a day where they just change everything and they call themselves the Atlanta Hammers for Hank Aaron, Hammer and Hank. I said it first. I claim that I said it first because, like I say, when nobody talking about this until after I said it, and then I saw some guy say it, and he had made up a logo and everything of what he thought the jerseys could look like, and I give him credit for that. He did. I've had drawings that I have never shown people of what a jersey could look like with that idea and all that. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and just whip something up, even if I just do a drawing that is a sketch, and if I want to tighten it up because I don't have time to ink it and get it solid vectorized and all that, put it through AI and tell it, this is my illustration. I want this level of crispness and everything. Give me your final image. And yeah. But I want to see the Hammers, man. Atlanta Hammers. If you feeling that idea, put a hammer in the emojis. Put a bunch of them so I know you with me. Put up the hammer. All right? And shout out to MC Hammer, because when I tell you, Hammer could be like, he got a long relationship with Atlanta, like a lot of legendary entertainers, but I know he would love to come and get that check if they asked him to be at the opening ceremonies and be official chant of the team. Can you imagine? Get rid of that lame ass damn tomahawk mess completely, and instead of doing a stupid ass chop, you hammer time. It's a hammer. We hammering. Hammer. Are you swinging like you swinging a bat? Hammer. Yeah, but come on, man. That would be, oh my gosh. The battery would be so damn lit. The battery is where the Braves play right now, if you don't know. The Cobb County. Shout out to Cobb. Man, it would be so damn lit. And I've never even been to a Braves game at the new facility. I didn't even go at the one before. I went to the old stadium. I've been there a couple of times for some games, but since they turned it into Georgia State Stadium, I need to go see a Panthers game. I like Georgia State's logo and the school. I got a little history with Georgia State on actual working with them on doing some stuff for ONYXCON, stuff like that. So I got love for Georgia State. It's a powerhouse of a school. incredible range of educational degrees and everything, and it brings the whole world here. Like, it's a true diverse campus. I love that about it. And a rich amount of black students. So a lot of people are benefiting from Georgia State, and I love that. And